apparently. We are doing some dry brush water, not dry brush water, dry brush nail art today. I was thinking about water marbling because I saw these test strips down here and my brain filled in the wrong word. These are the dips that I dipped out when I was doing my testing for. Sorry, I don't have autofocus on, but I think that's clear enough for the little four-leaf. Not four-leaf. Shamrock, the three-leaf clover water marbles. I put a matte top coat on that one just for, to see if the colors changed. So that's why I had a flub of the tongue. Let me go comment in Discord that I'm on, so that my nail peeps over there can know. But what we're doing is dry brushing, and I have some warm colors out, some terracotta-ish colors, some yellows, some peaches, and I'm going to be testing stuff shortly, and then I'm going to be painting stuff onto my hands. Okay. There. Post is post. Ted. Okay. So, let's get my phone out of the way first of all. Where I don't have it in the way. And then let's finish the testing here. I have the peach color as a base. This is Sally Hansen Freedom of Peach. I also have Wet n Wild color called Casting Call up here that I have not dry brushed over that I need to. And then OPI Never Dullest Moment. I decided not to use this color. This is one of the Sally Hansen Crayola collaboration Insta-Dry colors called Canary. It's too bright to go with the rest. This one is Milani Canyon Country. No, that's this one. This one is OPI Yank My Doodle. And then this one in the middle is Society Wit The New World, which I really like the color of. And I don't think I've talked about this brand before. It's an indie brand, but I think they mostly do creams. The maker of this brand has another brand called Pep Nail Vibes that does Crowleys. And I think there are a couple of shimmer shades for the Society Wit polishes, but I like her labels and I like the conventions that she uses in naming her polishes. And I like the colors so far that she's been picking. She has a nice range of colors, and they have pretty opaque formula and good polish. So that's that one. I'm thinking right now of the ones that I have dry brushed over already that I like this one and this one better than this one. Something about the brightness of the Never Dullest Moment feels too bright and intense, and also slightly too similar to the dry brush that I did during the summer. So I'm kind of leaning toward these two. But I want to test dry brushing over these. They weren't quite dry earlier because I laid them out a little bit later. So I'm leaning toward using Canyon Country and the Freedom of Peach colors as the dry brushed elements, possibly Freedom of Peach and Yank My Doodle instead. But we'll see. And then since these ones don't have any yellow, I'm going to try it with the Society Wit color. The formula on the Society Wit polishes is a little bit thicker than like an OPI formula, for example. And I know a lot of people prefer that, but I don't really mind the OPI formula. I feel like it does a really good job self-leveling and being not runny most of the time, even when it's not as thick as an indie sort of a formula typically would be. I don't mind thicker formulas really all that much either, unless they have difficulty self-leveling, but that is moot in this case. I update on this blister thing. Some of the skin on my sidewall has continued to exfoliate through life, and the top of the blood blister got exposed and started to peel a little bit there, so it looks a little bit red because you can see the little baby underskin underneath where the blood blister bruise thing was. And a little edge that I need to trim off so I don't catch it on things. But I actually, this nail started peeling, probably due to having had that band-aid on and pressing on it on a weird angle. It had gotten a stress, sort of a, sorry, I'm out of frame, a stress, sort of a fracture thing right there on the edge, so I had to do a tea bag patch on it. Okay, so let's, on this one, let's do Freedom of Peach. I don't like the Freedom of Peach color dry brushed over top of other colors really all that much, because it's not as opaque, and so it kind of shows the other colors through too much. But I think over top of the yellow, since it's a lighter color, it won't look bad. But I want to put it down before I put down the other colors. I need to wipe off more on my brush next time. That was too much peach. I don't think that focuses quite right either. I do not have autofocus on. Right there. I think that's as good as we're getting for down here. Yeah. Maybe I can zoom you in a little. I'm trying to slide it. There we go. So that you're more in frame. There. Is that better? Can you see more? Do you see this area over here where it's got the kind of orangish colors and the yellows over the peach? I like that. And then this where it's got the peach and the oranger colors over the yellow. In person I like this one better, but on the camera I like this one better, so that's funny. Let's try the OPI Never Dullest Moment over these. This color dry brushes really well. You get nice thin strokes. Do you see that? This one I like, I think, dry brushed better than the Society Wet color, even though I like the Society Wet color as a base more than I like the OPI color. Really make sure I'm removing the polish off of the brush so I don't get blobs of color. And then brush, 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 brush. I think the first dry brush I ever did was a couple of years ago for the background of a Thanksgiving design that I did. And I am pretty sure that I used this color, no, this color as one of the colors, the Canyon Country, Milani color as one of the colors in there. And I know that I used Revlon Totally Toffee as well. Oh no, I don't think I used this Milani color. I think I used Totally Toffee and then this other Milani color called Morning Coffee, which is a darker, it brought it more Thanksgiving-y warm tones. Kind of a vibe. Okay, well, of all of those, I still need to put some Canyon Country on this one, but I don't really like that as well as the other ones over here. Yeah, no. That's going to be a no. Okay, so I don't like that one. It's too bright. I don't like that one. It's way too bright. This one, I think the tones are too similar to the background color. All the dry brushes just kind of blend in, and it's hard to see them. Same thing here. This one is okay if you want the lighter over the darker, but that's a little bit too fall toned for me, I think, right now. Even though, obviously, these are kind of fall colors. I still want it to feel a little bit brighter than that. So, leaning toward these. Let's do a second test for those on the back of this. So So the Freedom of Peach color, we're going to have to do 2 coats to get a good sense of what the intensity and vibrancy of the color will be. And then the other one is Society Wit, The New World. I like the opacity of this color. For being a yellow, it's really good at only 2 coats. And it's a nice muted sort of a color. Let me get out my mustard swatches so I can show you some comparisons. I've got my ring hanging over here. Here we go. Let's see. My focus is up here, down here, so let me be careful with that. This is all golds. And then this is Glitter Days Mellow, which has a similar tone to it, but it's lighter. And then this is Society with the New World. Those two go together pretty well. But you can see this one's a little bit darker, and the Glitter Days is a little bit lighter. This one also has a slightly more orange touch to it, just a little bit. And then the other mustards, let's get out the little range here. Let's get rid of the ones that have flakies in them, just for ease of comparison. I actually have a post, I think, on my Instagram of a swath of these. Not all of them, because some of them were a little bit too different to be included. Like this one, I think maybe. No, I did include that one. So maybe all of these were on the picture. Of my mustard colors. Hi, Polished Soul. Hi, how are you? We're looking at the range of mustards. Because I have this one out. Society Wit, The New World. That's this one. And we also have out OPI Never Dulce Moment, which is this one. For some dry brush testing that I was doing, and we're gonna do some more on the 2 base colors that I kind of was leaning toward. And we were talking about how this New World and the this color over here, which is Mellow by Glitter Days, how they have a similar sort of a tone of dustiness to them, but this one's a little slightly more orange and slightly darker. I'm doing good. I know, they're so pretty. And then over here we've got the neon yellows. Oh boy, that doesn't show up well on camera at all. And that's much, much slightly greener toned and neon in person. I have a little bit of a stress crack thing here. Sorry, my focus is down here. You won't be able to see that very well. So I have a tea bag patch on this nail. But aside from that, everything is going okay. Let's get a second coat down on these. And then while that's drying, I can do base coat on my nails and let that dry while I decide what my base color is going to be. Do you have anything going on for St. Patrick's Day? I just took off my St. Patrick's Day nails, even though the day's not over yet, because I want to get my nails painted for the upcoming week. No! Yellow is definitely not my favorite color. Green is my favorite color. Let me... Hang on, let me get my greens. I don't think this is all of them. No. No? This is almost all of them. Aside from the ones that are up here, I've got a bunch of greens there that I pulled out for St. Patrick's Day, and I have quite a few that I haven't actually sorted into my swatch stick stuff yet. These are my greens. I got lots of greens. They're so pretty. Oh, excellent. Very good. Approval. Approval of show choice. What season are you in the middle of rewatching? Yeah, my collection is relatively large. I have roughly 1,000 polishes total. A little bit more. And normally I keep them organized. Let me show you my little swatch rings over here. I have some of them obviously taken off, like the greens are not on there right now. But I've got most of mine hanging here, so I can find them pretty easily and quickly. First episode of season 4. Oh yeah, you're about to transition into the second half of what the show became when it's not just brothers being brothers anymore. Okay, so we gotta let that dry. Let me clear off my nails really quick. Wait, I got out Q-tips. I know I did. Where are they? Here they are. I was like, I know I'm gonna have to get out Q-tips and not try to dig in there, and I prepared myself, which was a little bit foresightful. Good job, Gloria. Just cleaning off my nails with acetone. Sorry, that's not in frame. Oh, it doesn't need to be that big in order to do good nails, though. I just really like nuance of color, and a lot of times I'll be like, okay, I wish I had this color, like with this one and the other mellow color. I wish I had this color, but very slightly lighter. And so then I find it, and I'm like, yay! Like just the other day, I realized I really don't have like any cool based pinks that are in the same dustiness quality as, like, if I were to classify this as a red, you know, where it's like really muted and dusted out. That looks a little more orange on camera than it does in person. You know, if I were to do a rainbow in that range of dusty mutedness, I don't have any pinks that are on the cool end of the spectrum that fit that. And I mean, I don't really wear pink all that often, but if I wanted to do a design that kind of went all through the rainbow and like looped from pink back to purple again, I couldn't do it. Because I tried to do it the other day and I didn't have that color. So, the hunt continues. Yeah, you know, I like color choice. Color and color nuance and organization is one of the biggest parts of the collecting part of polish that I enjoy. And then I also enjoy the painting part too of the creative nail art process. And just getting better at application is fun. Improving in technical skill and fine motor skill and etc. Okay, let me adjust the focus here because I'm going to be slightly closer as I paint on my base coat. There we go. I think I told you guys, I don't know if you were here, Polished Soul. Last design, not the Shamrock one, I guess, but the one before that, that I tried a different base coat and I was sad and disappointed. And I went back to my one true love, which is the Glisten Glow base coat. I love the way it self-levels, and I love the way that it applies, and I love the quickness of the dry time, but it's not finicky while you're applying it, which sometimes can happen with quickly drying polishes. And I just really like it, and it keeps my polish on really well. But that doesn't mean that I didn't just also buy another base coat to try, because the hunt for the best, I mean, yes, this one is the best that I've found so far, but that doesn't mean it's the best that ever has existed. And you don't know until you try. I got the Moonshine Manny base coat and top coat to try. But sometimes, you know, nail care products, like, sometimes they're like knock out of the park fantastic. Like, the colored polish of a brand doesn't necessarily give you an insight into the quality of their top coat and base coat. Because they could be excellent at formulating color and not pick the best top coat formulation. Like the Seche Clear. Okay, I have Seche Clear. I've never used it as a base coat because I know for a fact that I need a sticky base coat. Otherwise, the polish will just peel off my nails. And so I use a sticky base coat. But like 1850 Artisan Polish, she has really nice colors and her thermals are great, and her other polishes apply really well, and they have good wear time on me and all kinds of good things. But her top coat, I hate her top coat. I got it for free as a sample in one of my orders, and it is, I just don't like it at all. Uh, I'm not trying to bash it, but it was too runny down the stem of the brush while I was applying, which was irritating because then it kind of gloms on where you don't want it. But then it also simultaneously dried too fast to be able to manipulate it on the nail, and you ended up with weird, like, glumpy string things coming off of the brush. Would not recommend, unfortunately. I used it for a bunch of my swatch sticks until it was gone, but even that was like a struggle, and I had to be very careful and methodical with it. I know. She does. I have several fancy gloss thermals. I think my favorite thermal from her that I have is Mamoncello, which is like a sort of a, it's not really a dark olive green, but it's like a muted sort of a lighter olive green, like a pastel olive, I guess, to steal a phrase from Just Face 90. That transitions into a sort of a peachy neutral color, which I also really love. I have a couple of really good pictures of the transition of that on my Instagram that I can't pull up right now because I don't want to go scrolling with wet thumbs. I also have one of the mustards I was showing you was her Golden Leaves color. I think that's what it's called, from Fancy Gloss. And hi, I love you. I have a couple of her other colors too, but I think Limoncello is my favorite of the ones that I've gotten from her. Okay, cool. Good to know. I know I have the black stamping polish from Painted Polish, and that stamps really well. It is really difficult to get out of your cuticles, though, so you have to be careful. And I have the One Coat White from her in my shopping cart and haven't ordered it yet. But that looks like it stamps really well, too. So far, with stamping for white, I've just used Sally Hansen White On, and that has actually worked relatively well. Sorry, I don't think that was in frame. Yeah. Let me adjust this, because I think this hand has a slightly different resting posture than the other one. I think that's because she has so much pigmentation in her creams. I know Golden Leaves had a lot of pigmentation to it, and that generally stamps well. I'm pulling back the skin around the cuticle here just because I know that this cuticle on this nail tends to be a little bit of a rabble-rouser. It wants to encroach on the nail boundary. Do you see right there how it's kind of angling a little bit more? You probably can't from that angle, but I have to kind of push right there to keep the curve even. It's the same thing that happens on this pinky. It's like the two nails are in collusion together. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta kind of have a plan. I haven't seen any sneak peeks for the 9-0 spring colors yet. I liked her spring colors last year. Can't believe it's already been a year. Sorry, I just banged into the camera. She didn't have really a winter collection last year, did she? I don't know. I must have not been thinking about it. Like, I remember she came out with like some Mario colors and stuff, but it wasn't like a themed collection for the wintertime or anything like that. This sad hand and nail. This nail is the saddest nail right now for me. It's just like, meh. Yeah, I know. A lot of people rush it, you know. I saw things for the OPI spring collection at the beginning of January, and it's like, excuse me, winter just started like a week and a half ago. Leave it alone. Let it be winter. Spring can come later. What's your favorite season, by the way? She did, okay. I just wasn't remembering it. I watch all of her videos. I know I must have seen it, but I'm just not remembering it right now. Me too! Fall is great. Spring is okay. Winter is okay here in Southern California. I don't like summer. It's too hot and it's too everything. Okay, these are dry enough. They're not completely dry, but they're dry enough to do dry brush testing on. So let's do... I know I like the Never Dullest Moment better than the New World color. So let's just do a little area of both of those for comparison purposes. I think I'm going to do like a cross-hatched sort of a dry brush. I don't know if I should do it down the nail or diagonally. I might end up doing it diagonally, a diagonal crosshatch. Okay, and then this one's gonna go over here on the yellow. This is the Freedom of Peach. I don't think I changed the focus, so this is probably blurry. I'm sorry. And also out of frame. Gah! Okay, I forgot that I'd zoomed in quite so much. There. That's a little bit more in focus, but it's not super color accurate because the color is getting glared off of. And then this color, the Canyon Country color. Winter is too gray. Yes. I like cloudy weather, and we don't get snow here. So I kind of like winter because that's when we get the most rain. February, January, mostly February, and some in March. I don't know. I'm not a super sunshine person. I like cloudy days. I think that just is because I sunburn so easily, though. Okay. I like this one better. Let me get the autofocus on so you can see it up close. Between the two of these. Okay, that one versus that one. I like that one better. Where you can see the peach and the Canyon Country color and the yellow. Yeah. Decision made. Okay. Now I want to test and see if I like the Yank My Doodle color better than... Well, yeah, they both look nice. They were the runners-up out of that. Or not runners-up, but finalists, I guess. So they both were okay, but I like that one better. Let's do... what were we doing on this with OPI Yank My Doodle instead of Canyon Country from Milani? I like the way that I just got that dry brush with the peach. The texture of it. I don't know. The value of those are pretty similar, but the undertone is so different that you can still see the brush strokes pretty well, at least in person. These are going to end up relatively similar looking because the value tone of these two is pretty similar as well. It's more a matter of the way that it brush strokes. And this one is slightly redder. That's kind of hard to tell the difference on camera. In person, this one is a little more red, this one's a little more orange. Also, this one, the brush strokes are a little bit patched looking compared to the other one. I think I'm going to go with Canyon Country color because I jealously guard my OPI Ink My Doodle. Because I like that color a lot. And if there's something that will work instead of it, I will use the other color instead because I want to save it for full manicures. Okay, so that color, not this color, and not this color. So now we're going to be painting Society with the New World on my nails as my base color. And these are going out of the way. Let's just put them up here because my shelf over there is full of polish. Those are the colors over there that need to get put away, lined up on the top, and the other shelf that I can reach also has stuff lined up across the top. So this is going to have to wait to get put away up there because I can't quite reach. Alright, so let's bring this down. Let's bring this down. Okay, and then my hand is going to be there when I'm painting, pretty sure, yes. So let's get the camera in place. There. And then we need to get the focus in the right place. Too far. There. That's better. Yes, definitely. I try to put things away every weekend, and that's probably what's going to happen after stream today. Alright, let's make sure I've got my stuff. I've got my cleanup brush, I've got my acetone, I've got my polish, I've got my cuticle scoop right out of frame, my trusty little Revlon, supposed to be a nail file, but I use it as a cuticle scoop to get polish out of my side walls. Okay. This is a 2-coat yellow, which is nice as well. This brand of polish does dry a little bit more quickly than some, so you have to kind of be mindful of that when you're applying so that you're not creating streaks that don't necessarily need to be there. But they level out pretty well on the second coat. And I'm doing dry brushing over it, so if I do screw up, it's not really all that important anyway. Because I can just strategically place a dry brush. But like, see right there, where I started going back over it and I just created a streak because that area was starting to dry. I should not have done that. So let me just daub on some polish there and then pretend that didn't happen. I can hear my big cat here in the corner by me. She's looking out the door, trying to see birds and bunnies and things in the little clearing by my apartment building. I don't think that she... Sorry, that was out of frame when I went to go cap the tip. I don't think that she can actually see them from that angle, because we have a patio with a railing that's like an opaque sort of a railing, and she will not be able to see through it because she doesn't have x-ray vision, but I'm pretty sure that's what she's trying to do. We have a bedroom in the window that she could probably get a better angle with, but who knows? Who knows the thought process of a cat? Hey Beflor, how are you today? We're doing, oops, I'm sorry, I'm banging into the camera again. We're doing dry brush nails. Starting out with this base color from Society Wit called the New World. And using a peach and a sort of a terracotta-y color over top as the dry brush colors. And I think those are going to be OPI, Freedom of Peach, and Canyon Country from Milani. You know, I don't think Milani's making polish anymore. Sorry, capping the tip. I went out of frame again. I don't know. I haven't seen them around. They used to have their bottles at CVS. And then they changed the bottle style. Like, you know, it all used to be this style of bottle. And then they changed the bottles into these sort of rounded cylinder sort of ones. Yeah, and then those ones disappeared too. I really liked some of their colors. This Canyon Country color I use pretty often. And I have, sorry. Their Showy Sea Green is actually really similar to a couple of Zoya, and I'll get that out as soon as I finish painting this to show you. Similar to a Zoya color and a, there's another one that's not Zoya, that's similar, that I can't remember, that I have. I think it's an Essie Mojito Madness, maybe. Pretty similar. I'm doing pretty good, Beth Flora, if you were asking me. I'm doing fine. Let me see if I can get out those green swatches real quick. I don't think it's on this ring because this is yellow toned greens. I think it's on this ring with my blue toned greens. Let's see. Careful of the wet polish. This hand is not wet because it's got base coat on it still. It might be on the other one actually. I don't know, maybe. Because I don't see it on here. Yeah, I think it is on the other one. There we go. This is the Milani Showy Sea Green. This is Essie Mojito Madness. They're awfully similar in color. And then Zoya Josie was the third one that I was thinking of. They have almost the same tone. This one is very slightly yellower. This one is very slightly lighter, but otherwise they're like the same. So apparently I have a penchant for that tone of green. I mean, I have a penchant for almost every tone of green, but that's one of the ones that I'm drawn to. Apparently. So it would seem. What are you up to today, Beflor? You too polished, so I don't think you told me what you're doing today. The same way with blues. I have a lot of blues too. I think my... You know, I don't think I'm going to be able to check that because I haven't updated the total since I haven't sorted and taken pictures of the most recent swatches. But in the nail polish tracking app that I use, it tells you the total of each polish category if you sort by color. Green is definitely the highest, but I think blue is second highest. And if you include teals and turquoises in that range of colors, that little family of green through blue is definitely the top of my list of most frequently purchased. Followed by kind of toasty, brownish, warmish neutrals. I like warm tones that feel really cozy too. I don't think that's actually my second. I think whites, like white Crellies, is up there too. I don't know. I created a smudge there that I had to fix. It's a good thing I'm putting top coat on to smooth these out at the end, right? Huh. Last day of vacation. Are you in school or are you taking a vacation from work or what? Oops. My glasses hit the camera. Sorry. Vacation from work. Cool. How long was your vacation? Did you go anywhere or was it a staycation? I have not gone on a vacation since I was 15, I think. All of my adult vacations, quote unquote, have been staycations where I just stay at home and relax. Yes. Glitter Krellies and flaky Krellies are totally my jam. Jellies, not as much, personally. But look at, there's a hair on there. Living with cats, man, is not the most ideal. I'm trying to get it off just by brushing it along here. Getting enough polish off of it that it's not going to glue all over my finger. There we go. I like Krellies that have other bases too, not just white. I like the white ones, obviously, don't get me wrong. But I really like it when there's other base color alternatives as well. More options. Oh gosh, too much polish on the brush. Look at that big old glob. Ugh. I posted a picture of the water marble shamrock testing on the Reddit Lacarista subreddit, and somebody under it was like, "Oh, beautiful! I'm working on painting my nails without flooding my cuticles." And I commented, "Cleanup is half the battle," because I mean, look at this. Okay, cleanup is half the battle. Normally, I'm not quite this messy, but this formula, albeit not a bad formula, is slightly thicker than my preferred consistency, and so I just am not in my element quite the same as I normally am. I really like the opacity of it, but it is slightly thicker. Like, it's not too thick. It's okay. Because it's slightly thicker, it's getting more that's hanging out on the stem of the brush, and so it's dripping down as I'm painting, and so I'm flooding my cuticle a lot more easily. Oh, that's cool. At least you got to see people that you love while you were on vacation, even if it wasn't for a whole week. Yeah, I'm okay with doing 3 coats if it's worth it. There's just something that's not quite as it depends on the jelly, obviously, because I do really like some jellies. But not quite as well as some Krellies, and I think it's because the way that the glitters and the flakies kind of linger inside the base of the Krelly and get muted down a little bit. I like that. Sorry, this is washing me out quite a bit when I bring my hand too far to the left. I am sorry about that. I'm just getting some of this extra off my skin because it's a little bit annoying looking. I'm going to add a little blob where I banged into this. I tried to smooth it out with my little thing because I thought it might be wet enough, but it wasn't quite. What part of Mexico were you in? I've only ever been near the border, on the Southern California, San Diego side of things. I think Porvenir is a town that I went to when I was in high school, and then just in Tijuana. Mexico City. Okay, I have never been there. I do have a student who has family that lives there, though. Did you originally come from Mexico yourself before? Or were you born here? Or, I mean, where do you live? I don't even know. Do you live in the United States? I just assumed that you did, but I might be wrong about it. I think this is, yeah, definitely dry enough for a second coat. Let's see if I can do this in 2 coats, like I said. Yeah, that's fine. It'll self-level a little bit more as it goes. Yeah, okay. One of my, I have several students that are first generation Americans and their parents came from Mexico. First generation natively born Americans and their parents have naturalized or been immigrants, you know? And, you know, my mom was born in Peru. She has dual citizenship. I don't think they force you. If she ever wanted to go back and live in Peru, they would make her give up her American citizenship. But because her parents were U.S. citizens born in Peru, she has both. And her sister lived down there for a long time. And my grandparents too. When we were 6, my sister and I, and then our older sister, who was 8 at the time, and our mom went down and visited them in Peru for 6 weeks. That was a really fun trip. We got to experience a lot of cool stuff in the Amazon and in Iquitos. We didn't really see all that much of the mountains, or the other side of the country, though. This is a little darker in person than it's looking on camera, by the way. It's got a little tiny touch more orange tone to it. Not a lot, just a little. Really get that cuticle line. There we go, that's better. I'm not really doing anything for St. Patrick's Day today. I don't, my husband's dad's family is Irish, but most of them do not live around here, and his dad kind of doesn't really care about St. Patrick's Day all that much. He has corned beef every year on St. Patrick's Day, so he's probably enjoying his corned beef, but I don't think they really do anything else. Is that in frame? Yes. Good job. Good job, self. Oh, I'm still getting used to this. Especially since I got the stand for the camera instead of having it around my neck, which does make it nicer. I don't feel like I'm jostling you every time I adjust my position. And I can have it kind of off to the side a little bit so you can see what I'm doing while I have the ability to bring my nails a little bit closer to my face. Whoa, my neighbors decided it was time to turn up the bass. I'm sorry if you can hear that. It's making the whole floor vibrate. I live in an upstairs apartment. And my downstairs neighbors are the ones that are doing the bass. So I can feel it in my feet. Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay, we're gonna wait and clean up the edges really properly after I do the second hand. I'm gonna stretch for a second. Come with me, let's stretch together. Okay, that was better. See right there, when my hand is here, the white balance tries to make everything super, super white and washed out, and that's annoying to me. But if I turn off the auto white balance, then everything just looks super dark because I don't have the best lighting in here. Like, it's okay. But I have, like, on my face cam, I have the exposure turned up all the way for you to even be able to see me. And, I mean, I have lights on. I have multiple lights on. But I guess, I mean, the only additional light I have besides regular room lights is this little ring light, and it's pointing down at my nails and not out at my face. You know? I'd rather you see the polish clearly and not see me clearly. The polish is more important. And I already have a limited space to put more lights. You know, I have, if you can see over here, this is my little nail tray, and I have my first lamp clipped on that side, and then on the other side, there's my face cam, hello, and it's clipped on that side, and then this is where the ring light is clipped. And it has this other thing to be able to, like, use my phone, which I do use when I'm taking swatch pictures, but I can't use it when I'm streaming, and that's attached to the ring light. Am I back in the right place? That's a little bit more color accurate right there. That color of yellow. I'm going to leave it there for a second so that you can absorb it. Okay. Now I'm going to go in and clean up all that goop that I cuticled with my cuticle scoop. Clean the goop with the cuticle scoop. It rhymes. Gosh. Like I said, this polish is slightly faster drying than a lot of polishes that I work with typically, which can be good. It's convenient for dry time, but if you are doing something like scooping polish out of your cuticle slightly belatedly, it can leave a little bit of a lip. Do you see that? Where it already had started to dry. So I'll have to just soften that down with a little bit of acetone when I do my cleanup around the edge before top coat. Same thing here. There was a little bubble, so I went to pop it, and instead of resettling, it created a divot. Of course, I also showed you my lights in the meantime, so it could be that if I'd done it faster, it would have not done that, but oh well. Okay. Yeah, I also, the brushes on these polishes are not my favorite shape. They're squared off completely instead of being slightly rounded, which makes it easier. If you have a thicker formula on your polish, if you have a rounded brush with a thicker formula, I like that better because then you can not have to do as much manipulation of the polish around the cuticle area with the brush while you're trying to have the polish not, you know, you're trying to spread it out, and if it's already in the shape to be spread out well, it makes your life easier as opposed to having to go around the cuticle with a square brush. But thank God for cleanup. That's all I can say. There we go. That music is kind of driving me bonkers. I'm glad you guys can't hear it. It's kind of warm today, actually. Sitting here in my pajama pants, kind of wishing I'd put on pajama shorts. But what's done is done. I'm not changing my pants with wet nail polish. No siree, Bob. It's also harder to get a thin coat of polish with a thicker formula. But not impossible. I just hear a lot of people saying that they prefer thick formulas, and I'm okay with thick formulas, but I prefer a slightly thinner formula. I don't want it to be runny, but I want it to be slightly smoother. Woo! Hi, Sralda. Thank you for the follow. Personal preference is personal preference, though, I guess, right? If you like thin formulas, good for you. I'm just, like, I mean, the opposite. I like thin formulas. Good for me. If you like thick formulas, good for you. To each their own. Like I said, I can make a thicker formula work, but I like the OPI formula. You know, everybody's always like, it's slightly thin, but it works okay. And I'm like, perfect. I don't know, I feel like it's easier to control a flowier polish as opposed to a not flowy polish. Ah, no. What does my title say? Does it say dry brush nail art? Because it should. And that is what we are doing today. We are doing dry brush nail art. Using these colors, the Society Wet color called The New World that I have on my nails right now. And then we're also using Freedom of Peach, which is a Sally Hansen color, and a Milani color called Canyon Country. Good, thank you, Polished Soul. And we're doing this right here. Dry brush. So I think, yep, this hand is dry enough to dry brush. So when you're dry brushing, for anyone who's... Does it actually still say St. Patrick's Day? Because that was my last design. Yeah, okay, so when you're doing a dry brush design, normally when you're doing polish application, which I didn't do a great job of with this particular color just now, so pretend I you know, can teach you things. Because right now it doesn't seem like it can. Normally, when you're bringing your polish up out of your bottle, you want to kind of clean off one side of the brush like that, so that there's only a bead of polish on one side of the brush, and that gives you a better amount to manipulate on the nail. And when you're doing a dry brush, you want to remove as much polish as you can from both sides of the brush so that it's mostly dry. And then when you go to brush it across, let me show you here as an example, it only leaves kind of a streaky sort of a pattern, and it doesn't make it a solid layer of color. So that's what we're doing. We're dry brushing these nails with those two colors to create a texture, a visual texture, not a texture that you can feel across your nail. So I'm doing a diagonal dry brush today. I don't have my autofocus on, but I think that's close enough that you can kind of see that. And I'm going to do like a cross hatch, possibly. Yeah. With each color. So that's the first direction, and then here's the second direction. Just to add some more texture. Yeah, exactly. I did do a little bit of testing for next year's St. Patrick's Day, but I didn't do that on stream, and I ended up with a water marble clover that turned out really nice that I think I'm going to do for next year. Shamrock. So that's in Zoya Wyatt and Essie Off Tropic. So far, I typically do my nails once a week on average. So usually on the weekend. Last week, I think I did it on Monday. No, because I did the streaming of the testing on Sunday and then the actual design on Monday. So I don't have a set schedule yet. I just started streaming this month, I think, is just the beginnings of my streaming. So I'm still kind of learning what works well for me for schedule. I'm thinking probably Sundays. Probably Sundays is going to be my most commonly streamed day. It might end up being Saturday night sometimes. It might end up being Monday night sometimes. If I have a design or something that goes horribly wrong with my nail, I might add an extra stream sometime in the middle of the week in another evening if I have to redo something or etc. Hi, SD Ninja. You'll be amazed again next year, yes. It'll be brand new, like you've never seen it before. Okay. I wish that it wasn't washing me out quite so much when I go on that other angle. I apologize, guys. You know, of all the nail designs, though, dry brushing is not super complex if you're just doing straight dry brushing and not doing something else to it. Like I know Colette, my friend Colette, did dry brush Christmas trees around Christmas time. She streamed that on Twitch as well. But there was like, I don't know, she just did rhinestones on top of that, so it wasn't like super much more than just a regular dry brush, but there's something a little bit different. Things is good. You look super cozy in that little blanket in your emoji there. I'm going to picture that that's how you're watching me in real life, just all wrapped up like a little babushka. Yeah. Let me get you up close to this really quick so you can see what's going on. We've got dry brush happening. And we don't have the darker color on yet. Yes, the polish does last for a whole week without chipping because I use excellent base coat. Hey, Praise is raiding. Hi, Praise. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Whoever was over there with her. Hey, it's Nate. Finally. Have you ever actually seen any of my streams yet, or have you lurked on some of them and just not talked to me, or what? Or have you not been here? Anyway, What were we talking about? Oh, yes. Okay, so base coat. I actually just experimented with a different base coat from Vibrant Vinyls, which worked okay, but my favorite base coat that works the best with my nail chemistry is the Glisten Glow base coat. I don't think it has a special name yet. It's just called base coat. This really works well. If you clean off your nails with acetone prior to application, and make sure there isn't any oil on your nail plate, like from your skin or anything. Okay, Praise. Thank you. I'll see you later. Have fun at your thing. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. You're like the only person who shares any of my nail art stuff on Tumblr. By the way, so thank you for that. All right. What was I talking about? I think I was talking about base coat. Yeah. So you have to use acetone to completely remove your natural oils from your nail plate. And then after that, you apply your base coat and just don't touch your nails in between. And if you use a base coat that is a sticky base coat, you have a better chance of having longer wear. And then also kind of experimentation, which one works the best with your nail chemistry. Some people work better with some, and some people work better with others. Orly Bonder is a really popular sticky base coat that a lot of people use, and I used to like that one the best until I discovered this one, and then this one was like, yes, it's better. Yeah, and then top coat, if you have top coat on, that helps to prevent chipping as well. I really like the Glisten Glow Top Coat, but I think that Vibrant Vinyl's Fast and Hard Top Coat, which is also a quick dry top coat, is tied for my favorite now, just because they're better for different things. The Glisten Glow Top Coat is slightly thicker, so it's good for smoothing out, like if you have like dots or something that's creating bumpiness on your nail, or like glitters. The Vibrant Vinyl's top coat is a little thinner, so it's easier to maneuver in other situations. So I like them both. Thank you, Nate. That's very sweet. I get a lot more people looking at it on Instagram than I do on Tumblr, which is fine. I still don't even have all that much on Instagram compared to my cat account on Instagram. I have, I think, something like 6 times more followers on my cat account on Instagram than I do on my nail art account. Look, there's a hair. Speaking of cats. Hang on, let me get some something. Do I have tweezers over here? I don't think I do. I might have to use... I'm just going to use my nail. Hang on. I want you guys to be able to see my attempt at removal of this hair, and then if I screw up, I can't pretend that I didn't. That's the beauty of a dry brush, though, is that it's kind of haphazard. Okay, this edge is lifted. My big cat's not sitting with me right now. Normally she does. And when she does, my face cam becomes a cat cam. Okay, I'm just kind of mutilating this area, but like I said, the beauty of a dry brush is that if you go over it again... There we go, I got it! You won't be able to tell. So I'm just going to kind of pat that down into place. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of this Freedom of Peach color, and I'm just going to do a little dry brush swoop right across that. And once the Canyon Country color's on there, no one's ever going to be able to tell it I have it. It's great. I got to go across that nail the rest of the way, though, because I only went one direction. No, not the band. We got to go this way. Like I said, thank God for cleanup, because this is kind of messy. What are you up to today, Nate? Do you have any St. Patrick's stuff going on? How about you, Ninja? The Floor and Polished Soul both said they're just kind of chilling. Which is also my plan aside from stream. I have church tonight, but that's it. I'm going to see my parents. Yeah. I wear green because how can I not? It's like the green holiday. But I don't imbibe in reckless ways. Try not to lose the base color, right? Because we want, after this color, we're doing the Canyon Country darker sort of terracotta color, and we want the yellow to still show through as well. Normally, I have a ring that has a peridot that I wear on this hand, so I have green with me all the time, no matter what, always. But the stone broke and came out of it, and so I need to get it fixed, and I haven't yet. So it's just kind of not on my hand. I take it off when I do nail polish stuff anyway, because if I spill acetone on it, acetone is not good for porous gems like peridot, which I think might be why it broke, because I did spill acetone on it a couple of times, and then I banged it on something, and it could have been structurally weakened. Yeah, that's right. Concerned face. But it's happened before, actually. When I worked at Del Taco, the stone fell out of it. This is the third time that I've had to get the stone replaced. But even so, peridot is a better choice for everyday wear than an emerald if it comes to green gems, because emeralds are even softer and they can get scratched a lot more easily. Yeah, I know. I wear it. I've been wearing it every day since I was 15, though, so 13 and a half now years of daily wear. That averages out to 4 years before it falls out on average, except that the last time it fell out was a year ago. Well, okay, it took me a year and a couple of months to get it fixed. So I got it fixed in July, and then it just fell out again. And it's not because the setting is somehow bad, it's that the stone itself actually has broken each of these times. So, you know, whatever. The first time that it fell out was when I was in my senior year of high school, I think, and the people that we sent it with to get it repaired, that time actually was because the setting broke. I caught my ring on a thing. This is actually separate. Okay, I've had to have the stone replaced. This is now the third time. And I've had to have the original stone reset into the ring once because I caught my ring on something and it stretched the setting enough that it actually just, like, it pulled the prong on the edge off, and then it made the ring fall out. The stone fall out, because it's a marquee and it only has 2 prongs. I'm a klutz, and so I think that I just bang my hands into stuff. So my ring gets damaged. This ring, my wedding ring, has not been damaged at all by anything ever, except it has one tiny scratch in the gold down here on the side. But the prongs and all of that has not been damaged at all. Alright, so that's the Freedom of Peach color done. I should probably close this other one too. Oh, back to the other story. When we were getting the original stone set back into it after the setting got stretched, we sent it, I think it was at JCPenney, to their repair people that they send it to. And when it came back, it was a different stone. It was not the same stone. It was not the same color. It was cloudier and not as beautiful. And so we were like, excuse me, this is not correct. You need to fix this, please. And I don't know if they ended up giving us a different stone that was the same quality as the original, or if it actually was the original stone, but not okay. Let's make sure that's actually dry. Really making sure we're going over the nail lightly, not covering up everything underneath. That white balance is not as good as it needs to be. After I finish this nail, I think I'm gonna get you a zoomed in look at that. All up into business. The peach color is not super noticeable comparatively in the lighting on the camera, but I can see it in person. The tone of it is what makes it show up more than a value difference. Yeah, that's a bummer. It does happen though, especially to things you know, that are malleable like gold or etc. Where am I going to be? I'm going to be here. Is that in focus? Yes. Yeah. So I need to just go get it replaced again. The last time, I liked the guy that I took it to, so I'm probably going to take it to the same place again. It's actually the place that I had Praise's ring fixed when she, her ring that she got from our parents at the same time that I got my ring was a sapphire ring. It's got 3 sapphires kind of in a row down the center of the ring, little round ones. And the center one, I think it was, or I guess they're little ovals because they're not completely round. Sorry, I need a better angle on this so I can get dark in the corner there. The center stone, I think it was, came out. And so I found a stone that was the right color that matched her ring, and I took it into them and had them fix it, and they did a really good job with it. So then when my ring broke, I took it there, and they did a good job on mine too. So I don't know. My mom is like, why would you spend more at this place? And I was like, because I don't trust other places, because of that other place took my ring and didn't give me the right stuff back. So I'd rather take it somewhere local where they're not going to send it off somewhere, even though it is a little more expensive. Just checking to make sure the color balance is pretty even. Those still look relatively even. Sorry about the white balance again. Yeah. The only trouble is they are closed on Sundays, I think it is. So, and I have to remember to go on Saturday. Normally I remember to go on Sunday. So it's been about a week since it broke again, and it's been 2 Saturdays, yesterday and the week before, and I had not gone either one of those 2 times. This is going to be a pretty short stream, guys. I'm almost done with the design, which is actually kind of good. I mean, I still have cleanup after the second hand and top coat and stuff, but I'm cutting my husband's hair today, so I need to have time to do that. Before my parents come over before church. If my dad's feeling well enough. My mom said that he was maybe coming down with a cold or something, or I don't know. I need to see what she says. That one has more orange than the first one. I might add a little more orange to this particular nail here to make it blend in better with the others. There. That feels a little bit more balanced. Yeah. I was thinking of something else, and then I distracted myself with my nails. That's one of the things that I do a lot while I'm doing my nails is thinking. I think. And so when I'm streaming, I'm just thinking out loud along with you guys. You're in my thinking brain for a little bit of time. I don't know if you heard that. That was the big cat going through the blinds. She was done looking out at the birds and the bunnies, and she's wandering over into the other part of the living room. You'll have to go and look at some of the VODs, if you can, Nate, to see the big sweetie. She's, I've uploaded all of my VODs actually onto YouTube so far, so if they're not up, they're on there. Yeah, we have a clearing here. This is the big sliding glass door, and that is the tube for our portable air conditioner that is not out through the window yet right now because we don't need it right now. But there's a field sort of a thing right over here, that has rabbits that live in it. We see them fairly regularly, and birds and things that live in the trees up in it. It's kind of nice, even though we live not in a country setting, we have a little bit of green right by our window, which I appreciate. Yeah. And my cats, of course, go wild if they see one. We hear the little chittery chatteries quite regularly, you know, that cats make when they're stalking something that they wish they could kill. You know, as cats do. Just trying to add a little bit of texture. I like visual textures. I think I've talked about this many times on stream so far, but it's true. Something about having a visual texture or pattern of some kind on my nails, I like it. Like, I like a plain color too, but even if I'm picking just one plain color, I prefer something like acrylic that has a flaky or some sort of shimmer, or like a acrylic glitter or something like that, where it has some visual interest. I do occasionally wear just a plain cream too. I do like creams, especially greens. Haha, who was surprised by that? But I like the way that X little patterny just turned out there. That's neat. Yeah, I don't know. I like having something more visually interesting. The 3D pattern. Are you talking about the caviar beads, the one with the flowers? Are you talking about the one that was matte green with the leaves stamped over top so that the leaves were slightly glossy and the background was matte? Alright, let's get my little jug of acetone. Let's get cleanup going. And I know I'm going to be down here a little bit more for cleanup, so let's adjust your zoom. Is that okay? I think that's probably okay. The matte one, yeah. Yeah, because even from far away, like I think I said in the comment under that post, no one from further than a foot away could tell that it had anything on it. It just looked like a plain green manicure. But I could tell that there was a little bit of visual interest there, and I really liked it. This is the e.l.f. concealer brush, by the way, being repurposed as a nail art cleanup brush, if you didn't know. Thank you, Polished Soul. I am liking it too. I wish that the undertone of the peach was showing up a little bit better on camera. I might, after I finish cleanup and put top coat on, I might, I haven't decided if I'm going to put matte top coat on this or not. Knowing me, I probably will end up deciding to, but I'll save that decision until I see it with regular top coat first. But after I'm done, I'll see if I can adjust the lighting to just right so you guys can see the peach bits. Because the contrast, like, it's not super highly in your face, like, I am peach, you know, but it's there, and it more so than it's showing up on camera. Okay. Because I'm right-handed, well, I mean, I guess it's reversed on the other hand. Because I am using this tool with my right hand, it's easier to do the curve on this side of things. So I tend to do cleanup on this side of the nail facing this way, and then on this side of the nail facing this way, so I have better control of the curve of what the brush is doing. There's an ant on my camera stand. We don't normally have trouble with ants. Our apartment building is really good at keeping them sprayed for ants, but the past couple of weeks, yes, elf concealer brush for cleanup. Cleanup is essential to make it look finished and nice. And the little elf cleanup brush is only $1, and it can get in there really nicely and makes the edges look va-va-voom. The past couple of weeks we have had an ant, not an ant problem, but like we've had some ants in here, and that's weird. So I got some ant traps yesterday and put them out, but there aren't any ant traps on my camera stand, of course. And you know, that's where I wish he'd go. All right, that's looking much cleaner. Colors are still not completely accurate, sorry. We'll have to get a closer look later. No, they're here. They're these. They're plastic with little holes in it, and then there's like poisoned bait inside that the ants are like, "Ooh, this is so delicious," and then they go in and they grab it, and then they take it back to their little ant hill and die in their ant hill, so that they're not leaving dead ants in my house. Yes, tiny little mouse traps just for the ants. Imagine how easy that would be to set off, for an ant to be able to set it off. Are you going somewhere? Are you going somewhere? Okay. I have a hangnail on this thumb that is in the process of healing. You can't see that very well on camera, but I just got acetone in it and it kind of hurt. You can't see, there's an ant again right here on this part of the support. He's crawling. It's probably the same one going back the other direction because he realized this is a dead end. I used to have a much bigger hangnail problem than I do now. Thanks mainly in part to cuticle oil and this thing, a little V-shaped cuticle trimmer, to help keep the edges of things smooth. Because I know if I have a hangnail, I'm going to pick at it, and I'd rather just smooth it out in an even way that won't let me pick at it. You know, because I used to bite my nails when I was a kid, and then I stopped when I was in high school, but I continued to pick at the skin around my nails until 3 years ago, when I was in my 20s. My mid-20s. I check the line of my cuticle on my thumbs because this one is slightly more square than this one, and I like to make them look even. Usually if there's not a hangnail here, this cuticle line goes up slightly higher. So I am actually going to round this corner just a little bit to make them look more comparably shaped, because I want them to be the same, even though they're not. Just visually similar enough so that they look cohesive. Okay. Like, all right, this light It's like washing everything out more than it needs to be. But then I tried adjusting the white balance earlier. If I adjust it, then everything gets too dark and you can't see as much. So I apologize for that. Sorry, I'm going down here for just a second so I can see the cuticle line. I don't think that's super in focus. No, and there's a couple of reasons for that. The longest that I've ever had is, I mean, relatively long, longer than this. But I am a speech therapist. I work in a speech therapy office, and some of my students need tactile cueing, like prompt cueing, where I'm touching their face to show them where the certain sounds are made. And if my nails are too long, I poke them. Or I could poke them in uncomfortable ways, and I don't want to do that, first of all. Second of all, as I've previously established, I'm kind of clumsy, and I know that I would break a nail, and I'd rather keep them at a maintainable length that won't create breaks, because when they break, you can't control the length at which they break, and then they can break down in the quick where you're really going to hurt yourself and not have a good time. So I'd rather just keep them at around this length. I'll go 1 to 2 weeks before I'll file them again. I filed them down last week to be pretty short, and I haven't filed them this week. I did a little bit of maintenance filing just to keep the shape even, but I haven't filed them like down. I'm probably going to wait until next weekend, or maybe even a week and a half, because I did file them relatively short last time. So they might have a little bit more wiggle room to grow. Are they an evenly smooth curve when you trim them with your pocket knife, Nate? Or are they jaggledy? Because if you do it and it's kind of an even curve still, that's not going to catch on stuff and not look like weird hexagons, then I'm not going to be mad at you. But if you do it in a way that's like uneven and like not a straight or smooth line, then I might get mad at you. Okay. My husband, when he cuts his nails, tends to... cat hair again! Okay, the tail end of it is up on my skin. I can grab it and pull it off. I think. Yep. Hooray! Nope, it broke. I got half of it. I'm just going to cover that with polish, because I don't want to dig it out. Let's get one of my little brushes. My Winstonia Berry Wine brush will make an appearance. Here it is. Very pointy, very thin. We're just gonna do that. Goodbye, cat hair. Actually, I'm just gonna remove a little bit of this as well. Because there was a little dingy thing there too. Sometimes it doesn't. So you rip it. Oh, Nate, no, that's so bad. If you start it with the knife and then you rip it the rest of the way, of course it's not going to cooperate. It's going to... Okay, your nail is made of multiple layers of keratin. And when you rip it, there's nothing to say that those keratin layers are going to be equally aligned with one another. There's no guarantee. And so you're setting yourself up for failure and painful ripping of your nail. I'm so sorry. That does not sound like a good idea. Yeah, no, I know. But it makes it easier to create flaking, because when you're ripping it this way, the top layer of the nail, sorry, I'm not in frame, the top layer of the nail might rip where you want it to, but the bottom layer might rip slightly further this way or slightly further that way, and so the edge isn't sealed. And so it has a greater likelihood of ripping again, or catching on things, or letting water into the nail and flaking. There. I couldn't have the peach color going over top of the country color, country canyon country, whatever it's called, because then that wouldn't be the right order. When the thing keeps going, you mean like at the sidewall, like you rip it and then here it keeps ripping down into and creating painful ow? Yes, of course that would be painful. Yeah, don't do that. Just, I'd rather you use just a regular nail clipper rather than that, or that you, you know, if that ends up happening, you could, I don't know, cut all the way across with your knife. I don't think that's good either, but it's better than ripping it. What, do you trim off the excess with your knife then? This is just painful to talk about because it's bringing back, I used to do that with my teeth. I would chew and then rip and all of these things, okay? So I know the feeling. I have lived that part of that experience before, and it's not pleasant. There's a better way. I feel like an infomercial. Okay, I think I'm okay with that curve. This edge here feels like it needs to be a little bit rounder to me. I think I might go back in with a little bit of the yellow, just to curve that curve a little bit more. I'm picky, okay, you guys? I think we've already established this. I'm picky. James was not good with clippers either. My husband, he would make straight cuts, and then it would look like little hexagons on the ends of his fingers because, I don't know, he just couldn't curve the curve. What you have to do is not clip the entire clipper all at once. You have to start the clipper like halfway on the nail and then clip and then move it another halfway and then clip again and then clip, 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 clip. So you're going around and creating a curve rather than relying on the curve that the nail clipper gives you itself, because that is not the shape of most people's nail. Yeah, okay, that's a little better. I know you probably can't even see any difference for that on camera, but I can. James asked me to teach him how to use the clippers one day, and so I did. And then he was able to see how I did it, and then he was able to do it, so I'm not gonna clip my nails on stream for you, Nate. I'm sorry. You'll have to learn some other way. This, I think I was saying earlier on stream, this hand, this ring finger, when I cut it at work, you can see the remnants of the cut there if you really look closely, but I cut it at work. And when I put my Band-Aid on, I put it on really tight, and I gave myself a blister bruise thing over here on the side. That is It's not painful or anything, it's just ugly. Why, though? What's the problem then? Is it that you don't like the way that they feel? Or is it that you can't make the curve properly like I was talking about? Or what? Because if it's like a sensation thing, like you don't like the way that they feel when you use them, I can understand that a little bit. Because they do feel a little strange. Sorry, I just banged into you with my arm. I'm gonna go under the edge of this with a Q-tip, because if I go in with cleanup brush, it's just gonna spread the polish around my skin instead of removing it. Yeah, okay, that's valid. In which case, how do you feel about nail files? Not the crappy, scratchy, like ones that feel like sandpaper, but like a glass nail file. I think I put my glass nail file in the bedroom, so I don't have it out here. That might help you get them down without ripping them. I was reading an Agatha Christie book. Ugh, I'm sorry, that's not good for your nail either. For the same reason, actually, because it doesn't evenly remove the nail edge and it leaves the layers of the nail separated and exposed for flaking and ripping. If you're like insistent on continuing to use the knife, I would say use the knife to cut all the way across rather than just the beginning, so that at least you're not ripping the middle part. Which one what? I'm sorry. I don't know the context. Oh, I just finished Murder on the Orient Express. It's the first Agatha Christie book I've read / audiobook listened to. And I just started The Body in the Library, which is a Miss Marple one. The first one was a Poirot one. I actually wanted to do, and then there were none, but that one is out of it. All of the versions of it, copies of it at the library were checked out already. So I got Bodies in the Library, or The Body in the Library. And in that, the murdered woman at one point, you find out that she had ripped a fingernail. Oh, cool. That's funny. Book twins. I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, she rips her nail in one of the scenes, and this kid was like gonna go throw the ripped nail away, and then he ended up keeping it in his pocket and not throwing it in the trash right away because he got busy or something. I haven't read it yet. No spoilers, please. Anyway, he keeps the fingernail because then after he finds out that she's murdered, he's like, oh, it's a souvenir, and it's like, come on, weirdo. Okay. There. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, looks like it's time for top coat. Same for the one you're reading. The Body in the Library. I have, and then there were none on request, but I have not gotten it yet. That's funny. Okay, so Glisten Glow Top Coat. Here we go. My favorite beautiful top coat. Sealing in the edges, really making sure we're capping the tip of the nail so that we prevent chips. And trying to float a bead of the top coat over the nail rather than actually smearing the brush down across the design, because if you are pushing too hard, you can actually lift off the polish beneath in a way that you did not intend to do. There. Cuticle nippers on your nails. You know what, Anne? That's a good idea. How are you today? I actually used cuticle nippers this week, which I don't usually do because I had a really bad hangnail that I couldn't get with my little trimmer because it was too close in next to the nail. And then I was glad to have them. The cuticle nippers, that is. Oh yes, where were you for spring break? I know you were going to go to PolishCon. Was that this week? Did it already happen? I don't even know. A lot of my students have not had their spring break yet, actually. I think we were talking about, several of them were saying that they have next week of school still and then spring break after. But obviously different school districts are different, even within state. Look, an ant! Told you, ha! Look! You can't see it because it went behind the polish bottle. It was right here on my nail file. Ah! Okay, I feel like I need to go along that edge after I'm done. Okay, 3 weeks away. I can't, Nate. It went behind the bottle, and I have wet nails. I'm just going to let the ant trap get it. You know, the ants here are much less horrible to squish than the ants in Michigan where I grew up. The ants in Michigan are giant, and when you squish them, they crunch. It's very unpleasant. The ants here are tiny. You don't even feel them when you squish them, and they just kind of squooge into non-existence. It's much easier to be an insect murderer without negative consequences to yourself. Interesting. I wonder what would have happened to them if you're in the same area. That's strange that they would not be around anymore. I'm leaning toward yes, matte top coat. But we're going to finish the regular top coat on all of the hands. Like I have more than two. On both hands. Before I go back and apply. Because I like to let the regular top coat set for a minute before I put the matte on. Who else is going to be at PolishCon, Anne, vendor-wise? Do you know? I mean, it's probably a relatively long list, so you probably don't want to sit there typing the whole thing to me when I can Google it later. But is there anybody that you're particularly excited for? Carpenter ants. Yeah, okay. I don't know if the ones that lived in Michigan, they were just big and they were black. And the ones that are here are little and black. And I don't really know what species either of them was. Okay, I'm going to stretch for a second. Let's turn this on and see if we can get a better shot at the color of this. Oh, wow. Did you see how much that turned blue all of a sudden? There. Oh, nope. Here, let me go back over here and control the colors a little bit. Nope, too bright. Let's, like that. You still can't see the peach. That makes me mad. You can see the peach in person. The peach and the yellow are similar in value but different in tone. Please focus. Please focus. Come on. Gosh, you're just looking at a big old blur. I apologize so much. You're going in blind. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. You can kind of see the peach if I like cram you up in there compared to the yellow, but they're different, I swear. Let's get my other hand top. I was adjusting it manually. I don't have that much control for the color specific tones of it to control. I just have the gain and the contrast and the exposure and stuff. And the color intensity, but I don't have like cool versus warm control. Do you want like recommendations for brands that like people like me? If I had any recommendations, would you be curious to know if there were any brands that I particularly was excited about? Yeah, I did. That's what I ended up doing. Okay. It's just annoying to have to do when you're pulling a slider. I have a trackpad, and so it's harder to kind of drag my finger across. Okay, I'll have to look and see what brands are there, and then I can maybe later send you a message or something. Unless you know any of them off the top of your head. And then I can give you my opinions. If I've tried them or not tried them or whatever. I've never been to a polish con. I've only ever been to Indie Shop. And I am going to Indie Shop again this year. In May in Anaheim. So I'm excited about that. I was planning on going to the Indie Shop in December. The one that they were planning on having the extra one for, like, I think they were planning on raising money at the event for victims of the wildfires in the area. And that ended up getting canceled. But I'd already paid admission for it. And they said basically, because I got the VIP bag, they said, we can send you the couple of polishes that we do have for the VIP bag and like let you into the next polish con in your area for free, or we can refund your money. And I said, well, I was planning on going to the next one anyway, so just count it toward that. So I am for sure going because I already paid. And it's on a Saturday, so I don't have anything conflicting except maybe my Greek class, but we can be flexible with that. It's not like we have to have it this day, and I don't even know if it conflicts yet or not, because the schedule for it has changed several times to make it easier for other people's schedules, so I know they would do it for mine. My left hand, man. Like, I can do relatively detailed small painting things with my left hand, but something about broader strokes even with the left hand is harder for me than smaller ones. Like when I'm applying a big stroke of polish down the nail, it's harder to keep it straight than when I'm doing like a little intricate flower petal-y thing. I wonder, I think it might be gross motor versus fine motor. You know, my fine motor in the actual fingers is more controlled than when I do the gross motor with the left arm, I think. Practice, practice. Practice and improvement. I can just tell you some of my favorite indie brands off the top of my head, too. You know, I'm not sure if they'll be at PolishCon or not, but I really like Painted Polish. They have really excellent formula. They make good stamping polishes. They make good Crellies. I'm not super into glitter, but a lot of people say they make good glitters too. Like that the formula on their glitters is good. They make really nice, like the stamping polishes can also be used as creams that are like one coat creams usually. So they're really good. I like Virago varnish, but they are out of business, so that's a bummer. She had really excellent creams as well. Lynn B Designs is good. She has a lot of I get a lot of her flaky polishes because she has really nice ones, but she's the brand I got for my 12 Days of Christmas Advent box thing that I was posting little ones up of for December. She has a lot of half-off sales pretty regularly, so that's nice. 50% off. So I usually wait for those to buy from her, but... What am I doing blanging into my nail? See, again, the gross motor of the arm is not cooperating with me. It's not going where I want it to go. Please stop doing that. Thank you. Let's see. I really like Noodles Nail Polish. They have really excellent Crellies. That's actually the brand I got my first indie from ever. And it did not disappoint me, and then I went to get some more from other brands. I was boosted in my confidence of the whole indie situation. They have other stuff too, but I really like her Kelly's. Night Owl Lacquer, they have really nice creams. Their creams are, we were talking about textures of like formula, like thickness versus thinness. Their creams are a little thinner, which I prefer, but they still have really excellent opacity. And they are, I don't know, there's something delicate and light about the cream formula that I really enjoy. It's really nice to apply. But they also have other things too. I have some good thermals from them. They do a lot of different finishes. I like their polishes. Contrary Polish, they have a lot of contrasting shimmer sort of shades, and I really like theirs as well. Polish, P-A-H-L-I-S-H, is one of the top renowned indie brands, and I also really enjoy their polishes. I really like a lot of the things that they make. They make a lot of flaky sorts of things too, so I like flakies, so good formula plus flakies equals yes please. Let's see. Moonshine Manny, actually. I'm just going around looking at my shelves to remind myself. Phoebe Moon, the maker of Moonshine Manny, does a lot of swatch videos and stuff on YouTube, and that's how I knew her before she started her brand, but I really like a lot of her polishes too. I think I have the most from her brand of any indie nail polish company. And she's a sweetheart too. She does a lot of greens, and I like green, so that makes me happy. Let's see. Colorista Carol is a brand that I have recently started getting more from. She does a lot of Crellies too. I really like her Crellies. Like my St. Patrick's Day nails last year, I was wearing a Crelly from her. White with gold and green glitters. And she has other stuff too. She's been doing quite a bit of thermals lately that are nice. And she does a lot of glittery things too, but again, I'm not super, I can't attest to that because I don't buy those because I'm not into that super much. Am I missing anybody? Oh, Cirque colors, I guess some people consider that an indie. I really love their color palettes and I really love their creams. They're not as cheap as some other indies, but I kind of think they're worth it, especially if you get them on sale. Yeah, those are the ones I have the most from. And there are others that I really enjoy as well, but 1850 polish, we talked about that a little bit. Lay polish, I really like them. Native War Paints has some that I really, really like, and some that have been kind of a miss for me, but I think the ones that were a miss were older shades. I think their formula has improved with time. Yeah. Okay, let's go back onto this first hand and add matte top coat, and then we'll do cleanup. Where did I put my matte top coat? Here it is. Quixotic polish, truly mattely deeply. It's a very good matte top coat. I was raving about it the other day, and I'll rave about it again. The texture of this matte in the bottle and while applying and while it's wearing on the nail is superior to every other matte that I have ever tried. It doesn't get chalky. It doesn't clump up on the neck of the bottle and make little white chunks that you have to worry about fishing out of the brush before you apply it to your nail. It doesn't make your polish chip faster like a lot of mattes will. It goes really matte really nicely. It doesn't just have a sort of a half matte, pretend matte finish. It's very nice. Here we go. I'm going to do the cleanup after I do the whole hand, so I let it have a chance to set, so I don't do what I was doing on that middle nail with the regular top coat to any of these. Well, trying to bump the polish around while it's wet. It's not a good idea. Plus, you can manipulate it after the polish has dried a little bit. On my St. Patrick's nails, actually, after I cut stream, there were a couple of places where I realized that the gradient wasn't quite as smooth as I wanted it to be, so I actually added a little bit more of the dark green right at the base of the nail and a little bit more of the matte top coat, and just used a little bit of acetone to blend the top coat into the other top coat, and you could not tell where the seam was, and I was very pleased with that. Anything that can get me to fudge a little on my like if I can edit the nail afterwards slightly and have it not be visible or noticeable or detract from the design to have changed something and then added it with more top coat or whatever again, makes me a happy girl. There. I think you'll be able to see the peach better on camera after the matte top coat too, once I zoom you in. Tonic. Okay, tonic I don't have very much from. Actually, I don't think I have any tonic polishes. A lot of people love them. They tend to go for darker, vampier color palettes. And I don't think I have any from them. So I can't attest to them, but I know a lot of people love them. Quixotic. This is the matte top coat that I'm raving about, and it's from Quixotic, and it's wonderful. It's called Truly Mattely Deeply. It's wonderful. I only have a couple of other polishes from her. I have some jellies from the Vibes collection that I got at the indie shop last year that are really cool. They're jellies, so they are really sheer, but they have a really neat shimmer in them. If you go on my Instagram and look at the jelly nails week that I did, it's like dots down the 2 center nails. See, I told you I wasn't going to mess with this while the top coat was wet, but look at what I'm doing. I'm messing with it while the top coat is wet. I just need to do that after it's dry. Aurora, I have not tried. Bee's Knees is good. They have a lot of magnetic polishes. At least the ones that I have gotten from them have mostly been magnetic polishes. They have a good formula. I haven't tried Dawn Diva. I haven't tried Ethereal. Girly Bits I only have one from. J-Ren, so far I have liked the couple that I tried. Leisha's Lacquer I have not tried. Nail Hoot, I only have a couple from them. Pepper Pot I only have a couple from them. Poetry Cowgirl, I only have a couple from them, but somehow I'm impressed more with their formula. I'm remembering that I liked their formula. KB Shimmer, aw, bummer. I do also really love KB Shimmer. I do have quite a bit of them too. That was the one I felt like I was missing when I finished my list and felt like I hadn't really finished my list. Because they're up on that rack up behind polish and I couldn't see them. And I knew that there was another one that I wasn't remembering. Oh, I like these matte. Yes, I do. Is that the full list? KB Shimmer is one of the biggest indie brands. They have made quite a good business for themselves. Okay, let me see if I can get, before I go to the next hand. There. Can you see the peach better now? In contrast to the yellow base. Here. Sorry, there's something stuck on the edge there. Let me bring the camera over here where the light is better. There. Is that glitching for you guys? Alter Ego. Yeah, okay, I have a couple of Alter Ego polishes. I got one in the VIP bag at the indie shop last year, and I don't remember where I got the other one. Maybe from Polish Pickup. You can see yellow. Can you see the peach? Underneath the terracotta color. There's the peach. It's okay, good. I like it. I think it's pretty. Okay. Let's do the other hand with top coat, and then we'll clean up. We gotta get back. There. Let's see, who was at the indie shop last time I was at the indie shop? Polished for Days was there. I'm not super into Polished for Days, not because they have a bad formula or anything, But because they tend to put holographic micro flakies into like almost everything they do, and that's a little much for me. Like I can go for holographic flakies sometimes, and I do have some of their polishes, and the ones that I have I really do like. But I don't go gaga over every single one of them like some people do. Who else? Cuticula, I think, was there. A lot of people really like her top coat, but I don't, because it's not the regular top coat anyway. I know she has a quick dry top coat. I haven't tried that, but the regular top coat smeared things for me, unfortunately. And a lot of her scents. I have gotten a couple of scented top coats from like Vibrant Vinyls, but the Cuticula ones that were there at the indie shop, all of the scents were slightly too strong. She had sample ones that you could smell, and they were too strong for me. But I did get a pineapple scented one from her from the Polish Pickup that I liked, that wasn't too strong for me. So let's see who else. There was Painted Polish was there, that was really good. Quixotic was there, that was really good. Necessary Evil was there. They have a thermal called California Autumn Sunset that made it into my top favorite polishes of last year. It's just really beautiful. It's actually similar color tone story to this, except it's a thermal, so it goes from like a mustard yellow to a sort of rusty red color as a thermal, and then it has a bunch of really pretty flakies in it. And I just really loved the texture of it too when I was applying it. It just, the formula was, oh yes please. There's a hair here, I'm trying to smooth it out. There we go. Let's see who else. There was a vinyls business. Never Enough was there. Envy Polish was there. I only have a couple from each of them. I know Envy's the one that organizes the indie shop, so thanks to her for doing all of that work. And then there was a vendor that was like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like that it's like a brand that, like a website that has multiple brands of polish that they sell, like a distributor. That's not the word, you know what I mean. And they had Colors by Leroux, and she was actually there. The gal who does Colors by Leroux. What is her first name? I don't remember. Gosh, that's bad of me. She was there. She helped me with my polish. They were nice. They had some Moo Moo signatures at that booth, and some other brands too. I don't remember all of everybody. Stashed Polish was there. Shire Memories was a polish that made it to my top polishes of last year as well. That's like a nude that had like greenish bluish flakies in it. It's kind of smaller flakies. They weren't micro flakies, but they weren't like giant flakies. I really liked that polish. I got that at the indie shop too. And then Ever After was there, and then 1850. That's where I found out about 1850, and I got my first polishes from her. She's really sweet. The gal who does them, I want to say that her name is Nicole. I don't know if that's accurate. And then Moonshine Manny was there, and a brand called My Stunning Nails, I think, that had come from Idaho. Yeah, I think that's everybody. I ended up getting quite a few things at the My Stunning Nails booth because they had some pastel brights, and I didn't have any polishes like those. I took all of my swatch sticks with me to the indie shop. I was carrying them around in my bag the whole day so I could compare colors and not buy things that were too similar to stuff that I already had. Flawless. Satin matte finish. Yes, good. There's something so smooth about the way that this polish sets, even if there's, like, it self-levels impeccably, this matte top coat. It's so good. And it acts like it doesn't shrink on me the way that a lot of other mattes have a tendency to do. I just love it so much. Okay. Okay, that hand is done being painted. Let's go back and clean up the first hand. And then we'll clean up the second hand, and then we'll be done. Thanks for hanging out with me, by the way, guys. I do appreciate it. After it's had a chance to set, you can really perfect your edge. Make it all smooth and straight again. I can't believe that next week is the last week of the 52-week challenge. This is week 51. I mean, I'm a little early because technically the week doesn't switch until Wednesday. But I do my nails on the weekends, so I have to begin the next week either a little early or join in the next week a little late. I have done that a couple of times. Like if I wanted to do something that wasn't on theme, I have kind of skipped a week, basically, by not doing that design on the weekend where I would have been ahead, and instead doing a different design and then coming in and joining the theme behind, and then catching up later. But I have done every single week of the 52-week challenge so far, and barring death, I plan to finish next week and have the whole year done. It's been a lot of fun coming up with things to go with the themes. It's stretched me out of my comfort zone several times. Like the neon week, boy, that was something else. I was so sick that week. I stayed home from work because I was sick. That edge. It looks okay from the top. But can you see that on this side of that nail where their polish doesn't go down quite far enough? That's because I was messing with it when it was wet. I don't think I care enough about it to add more right now. I might go back and add more later, but that's the beauty of that top coat, melding into itself pretty well. That's why I should wait until it's dry, though. Drier, set enough that it's not just wet completely. Who else was going to PolishCon, Anne? Wasn't somebody else going to PolishCon too that I saw you talking to? I'm sorry, I'm out of frame. I apologize. You know what? I am going to add a little bit of this. First, I'm going to add some base coat. So that I don't get lifting there on the edge. And then I'm going to add some of the yellow. I don't have to really add the dry brush part over this because a lot of the edges, do you see where the yellow just continues over the edge? But it fills the nail out and makes it feel fully correctly shaped. And that's my own fault for messing it up when I was cleaning up. And now I'm going to heed my own advice and wait until that's dry before I try to clean it up and mess with it. All right. I think I need to change my focus a little. I'm down here. Right there. That's better. Trying to make a smooth edge here. And my brush keeps wiggling a little more than I want it to. Sorry, I'm concentrating really hard so I'm not talking because it's harder to do with my left hand without going too far into the nail. Okay, that looks all right. Sorry if I'm getting a little mute. Again, I'm really focusing on trying to get this edge clean with my non-dominant hand. Okay, I think this base color over here is dry enough to clean up really quick. I'm actually going to feather out this edge, not with a hair from a cat, just so that it's not covering up as much of the actual edges that were there already. And then I'm going to add some of the top coat, the matte top coat. Over that little area. And then once that dries, we can smooth the edge of the top coat in with the rest of the nail. And it will look like one cohesive area. Okay. Getting this edge. these nails where the cuticle edge is not necessarily the straightest or the most evenly curved is tricky. Like this one, I have to remember that the cuticle is pushing slightly in more than I actually want my polish to push in, so I have to let it come closer to the cuticle on that side to make the curve look even. That looks okay though. Alright, just a couple nails to go and then we will be done. Just a couple nails of cleanup even only. I have to be careful here because this is where that patch is and I don't want acetone touching the patch as much. Well, I want it to touch as little as possible. So I was trying to be careful when I was doing my actual painting on that nail. I don't remember if I succeeded or not because I already did the cleanup of the base color. And in my mind it's ancient history. Let's do a Q-tip under there to get rid of the excess. And all of this dried polish here can get taken off with the same guy. Oh, my foot. I'm getting to that 2.5-ish hour mark where my leg that I've been sitting cross-legged on is like, you need to move me, please. Okay. Just got some paint from the handle that got in the acetone and it got on my skin, so I gotta get that off too. I am gonna have to take some macro pictures of these so that you guys can really see them up close. You'll see those on Tumblr, I think, Nate, and everybody else will probably see them in Discord and or on Instagram. Because they will go in all those places. Okay, so that's the regular base cleanup. You can see here on this nail, do you see? Oh, let me get the focus a little closer. You see the focus there? How it almost has blended in completely anyway already. So I'm just going to take a little bit of acetone and I'm just going to do this right on top of the matte top coat, and I'm going to let that dry just like that. Oh, come on. Do I really have to manually focus you? There we go. And now there's no edge. Oh no! I said there we go too soon. Fine. Okay, let's manually focus you so that I can show them what I'm talking about. Right there. There is no edge to be seen in the top coat. Whoops, that's too far. There. You cannot see an edge. And it's just like this nail where there's a little bit more yellow on the border. So you're not going to be glaring in at the side of the nail.
So if I have this,
so that looks good to me.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yep. So I got one. It's the socket says 2 unlinked sockets.
Okay, so I gotta let that dry.
I wanted to put more on it.
What were you saying ouch about, Nate? Were you talking about this finger? the blood blister bruise thing going on there. All right, let's get the focus back on down here.
No.
There is the
Jeweler.
finished-ish look, if it will actually focus again. Good lord.
Yeah, I was wondering if it's worth the jeweler.
And if the color will be accurate. Gosh, I think this is one that I'm going to have to just take pictures of if it's not going to focus. There we go. There we go. The colors are still a little bit too washed out, though. That's better. The acetone? You know what? It's not bad at all. I use acetone. That's what I'm using on my cleanup brush for all of this. 100% acetone is the best thing to remove nail polish. All you have to do when you're done is make sure that you put cuticle oil on and rehydrate so that you aren't drying out your skin. If it dries out and starts cracking, then that's going to be painful. But if you rehydrate again right after you're done using it, which is what I'm about to do right now, which is going to probably freak out the camera because the oil will make everything shiny and not like the camera for white balance or whatever, it will replenish your skin's hydration and not jack up everything. And then when I wash my hands, it'll go back down to being that. See, I told you it would not like the shininess. Yeah, only if you haven't rehydrated in between, because you're breaking down the lipids in your skin. But if you replenish those with cuticle oil or hand moisturizer or whatever, then you'll be okay. I told you that this would totally screw up the camera, though. Look at that. It doesn't like the shininess. It makes the white balance go crazy. All right, ladies and gents, that is it for today's stream. As soon as I finish rubbing in all of this cuticle oil, I'm going to go look at Twitch and see if there's anybody on that I want to host.
Yeah.
And then we shall see. But
Yeah.
I gotta do that after I rub this in because I don't want to drip cuticle oil on my keyboard. I'm just rubbing the extra into my hands. Okay. Voila. And because I use quick dry top coat, I don't have to wait for these to dry. They are livable. Right, let me go check out Twitch and see if we've got anything going on for hosting. Give me half a second. It looks like we have SD Ninja playing Devil May Cry and Bob Ross I follow. So I think I'm probably going to host SSD Ninja since he was hanging out with me here in chat earlier. Put that in here.
Yeah, I just wanted to look at this thing.
I'm hoping I'm doing this right and that I don't need an @ We'll see. Nope, we're good. All right. See you later, guys. Bye.